Hello there for watching us via Kassala TV. Welcome to new session of your program is Visions with the new episodes and new guests as usual we do. We bring it here inside the studio. So welcome to the show. A lot of people looking for a better performance to speak English, and it has several advantages such as increased confidence and also getting promotion chances of finding satisfactory jobs. Besides to getting opportunity and grab it for study in a best university in the world. So that is become as linked and related to the fact that English considering it is the #1 of spoken language around the world. If so, what are the plans for speaking very probably and how they be implemented and what are the difficulties and how to be overcome it. So we're going to talk so much about that stuff. Many questions will be actually borne down on the guest inside the studio. God bless him. After this break, we start. Welcome once again to the show, and it is my pleasure to have very dear inside the studio. Would love to give you Mr. Mahmoud Sinjai. Welcome to the show. How is it?
Very fine, Mr. Raji.
You think it's okay?
Everything is well.
That's cool. Could you please just introduce yourself?
Yeah, actually, my name is Mohammed Mahmoud, but my nickname is Fonjai. This is a name by which many people know me.
What does it mean?
It doesn't have, for example, a particular meaning.
Yeah,
it's a matter of just a nickname.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm from Gudarif and I study at Kassala University. I'm majored in English, and this is the final year for me to receive my first degree.
Wow, conga. After you're working so hard to live this, to get this.
Yeah.
All right. Nowadays, people really are, working so hard to find the way for speaking English fluently. And as you know from the introduction that I said, it has become the #1 spoken globally, and it is opening so many doors, in order to improve the life. So, what people need, to speak English probably.
Yeah, actually, the number of people or the kinds of people, who in need of this language and to have a good understanding about this language.
Yes.
For example, there are different types of people. We have, for example, we have students with their different majors and specializations. We have, for example, media men, businessmen. But the proportion that actually need a good understanding and knowledge of English is actually students. You know that, for example, around 30 or 35,000 of students, they are going to sit for Sudan examination every year.
Yes, exactly.
So this huge number of people and students, they have to know something about this language. And you know that English is one of the main 4 subjects, is it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, it is one of the 4 main subjects in the secondary school. And when you fail in English subject,
you will never go to the other stage.
Actually, I'm not going to get into university. You will not be allowed to get into university.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is why you will work hard as a student to know this language and to master the language. Also, for those who want to, for example, to do their master and PhD abroad, they have to know this language. And this language in many universities is a means of instruction.
Yes.
That means the language is going to be the medium of instruction.
Exactly.
Unless you understand this language, actually you are not going to, for example, to be a good in your field.
Oh, all right. Some folk say that a teacher, have lack of ambitions in order to raise the levels of English language for among the teaching. So what do you say about this point?
Yeah, when we talk about public education, and in particular, basic school.
Yes.
Actually, in this stage, teachers, they have to be careful about the way they follow to teach, for example, these kids.
Yeah.
And it is better, for example, for these teachers, to make the lesson of English language more interesting, more enjoyable.
Yes.
And, they have to, for example, use all the elements that may play a role in creating a nice an interesting lesson, and then the students are going to love this language from this stage. And when they get into, for example, when they get into the secondary school, actually they are going to get there with knowledge about this language. So it is better to use, for example, songs, and to use what we call songs and
playing games.
Games, you know, this will enliven the lesson and make it more enjoyable.
Really, you are right. You know, when we're talking about our mother tongue, I mean the Arabic language, for instance, you know, we speak this language before to join the schools. See, because it's all time, it is related with the songs that come from the mother to the children. You know, when just try to help him or her to sleep or playing games or for eating, so she choose some phrases of that language you speak. That's what we call it, its mother tongue. You speak the language that your mother speaks, see? So when we use this as a tool for learning a new or a foreign language, it's become more comfortable and more enjoyable to that students, and use it like, how can I say, it's just like more enjoying and give more information about that sport.
And also, you know, it is very important in this stage that teachers should avoid put down strategy. When the learner, for example, want to answer a particular question, even if he gives the wrong answer, you have to reinforce him. Instead of saying, oh, this is wrong, you know, we have to encourage them.
Of course.
Otherwise, you know, we are going to create learners who lose confidence, and learners who hate the language itself, you know. So this is why, you know, this stage is really sensitive.
Really, I can give so many examples from many students that I met before. They say that we don't like this subject because of the teacher.
You're right.
Really, it is quite important. Okay, let's go to the next question, really, because it is very, very, very important question that I want to ask. It's about the English is different from countries to countries. I'm talking about the English countries, or the English language is the formal language, the language number one in that country. So people sometimes getting confused between the variety and the way of speaking this English. So what should we do to avoid this confusion?
Yes, you're right. You know, to avoid the confusion of this different, for example, accents of this language, here I'm going to say that the learners, you know, should expose themselves to a big number of they are going to expose themselves to a big number of, for example, movies. Like American films and American movies. So this will give them what? This will give them a good insight into the American vernacular. And when we say vernacular, we mean the informal language that is used widely in that environment. So when these people use this language informally, actually they have a particular way of pronouncing words. So when we watch such, for example, films and movies, we are going to know the way they pronounce words and items, and this will help us to know these accents. Also, you know, we need, for example, to talk with native English speakers.
That will be so helpful.
I mean native English speakers from UK and USA, and the other, and the other English-speaking countries. All these things will help you to know the language very well, and to know the language with its different accents. So by doing so, you are going to avoid confusion. You are going to understand the language very well.
Of course, even from, you know, nowadays what is called is like making a mixture between the English language and that language in those countries. Nowadays people know, oh, this comes from India, speaking English, just like a mixture between Indian language. It's so many languages.
Actually has he has
and also the Eastern African, even the West African countries, they speak in different, South African is speaking different language. What is called in linguistic, I'm not experienced how, but what is called a pidgin. It's just like mixture. As you know, here we have Arabic Juba. It's just like, you know, a mixture.
You're right.
That language, the Arabic language, and the other
this is why, you know, this is why University of Kassala always, for example, is going to bring American native speakers and British native speakers to know the two different accents, you know. And we are going to avoid this confusion.
And even
speak freely with these people.
Exactly, and even, you know, the difference is not in pronunciation. Even there is a difference in the vocabulary itself
Yeah,
between
yeah.
American.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I have some guys that I met them. It's native speakers, and one who come from British. I think you know him, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah.
He says that you know you say in USA describing the trousers they say pants, which is mean underwear there in UK.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
But in America they say it's pants. You
Yeah.
see? So even it's not just in the accent.
That
the way
means some
we speak it.
items, you know, some items are
Exactly.
just restricted to a particular country.
Yes, yes.
And it is, for example, yes, the other words which give the same meaning are also going to be used, for example, differently.
In different situation and different occasion. All
Yeah.
right, back to the our reality here, because
Yeah.
we are a community with the variety in everything.
Yeah.
In ethnical groups that we belong to different tribes, we speak in different languages,
Yeah.
we have different folklore and tradition and cultural things. So English language is international language. So how can you use it in order to reflect our culture?
Yeah, very good. This very wise question. You know, when you talk about how language, and this language, exactly English, reflect our culture, we know that the word and the term culture refers to everything that we do in our daily life.
Yes.
And it refers to our habits, traditions, and lifestyle, and our social convention. So we want to tell people who we are and who we want to be.
Yeah.
So here in this case we need a medium by which we convey this unique culture to the public or to the people outside the country. So we chose this language, English, because of some reasons. You know, nowadays the native speakers of this language is around 360 million. So this big, huge number of people, if we want to tell them and show them our culture, this unique culture,
Yes.
actually we have to use the language that they use.
Of course.
So this is
It's
why
logic, making sense.
this is why you know we use English, because it is the dominant and it is the most widely used language in the world.
Yes, yes, and really, to speak frankly, among this show, there is many foreigners. You know, they contact us via the accounts, the accounts of the show. You know, via the social network sites in the Facebook and also in Twitter and different social network sites. You know, they contact me. I mean, they contact the teams because it's just like reflecting and making some documentaries for the variety and the beauty and pioneer of the Sudanese culture. They talk to us, and we had an even interview.
Yeah,
and they
right.
change their consumption and thoughts about the country at all. Because I was at really we have a little.
You know, every country has its
different
own
background.
culture. You know,
Yes.
that is unique from other cultures. This is why we use this language.
Okay, back to the schools, and particular the curriculum, which is take responsibility for learning and speaking. So what change could be happens for the English curriculum among the schools?
Yes, very good. We know when we talk about the curriculum and the syllabi, you know, actually I'm going to say what I'm going to say, that the content of the spine syllabi is really informative and can meet the learner's needs. Also, it can provide the learners with what they need to make progress in the language. That means, you know, this spine can it is going to take the learners from their first introduction of this language up to a proficient use of the language.
Yes.
But the element that needs to be updated here is sounds. And Mr. Raji, you know the importance of this element, exactly. Very, very, you know, it is very important element, exactly.
Yeah, and really that's why we study English since 5th grade in basic school. And even among the 3 years of the high secondary school, even when you join university, we still have problem with that.
Yeah.
We discussed, you know, among the previous episodes, you know, particular about this point, because it's quite essential to spotlight in it. And really, the current is quite important because this is a language. We speak it, we write it, we listen, and we communicate with each other by using this language.
So, you know, the only element that needs to be updated in this stage exactly is sounds. And because sounds, you know, for example, is going to help you to know how to pronounce words correctly. If you pronounce words in the right way, just like native speakers, then you are going to be a good communicator.
Of course, of course.
So this element, for example, plays a major role in making you a good communicator. That means it has a relation with the skill of speaking.
Muhammad, tell me about your journey with English language.
Oh, it's a funny journey. Yeah. Since, listen, from the name journey, you know, since it is a journey, actually, it has a discomfort.
Oh.
A discomfort due to what? Due to the
If
long,
bumpy roads.
yeah, due to the long distance travel. But believe me, nothing can be achieved without exertion, without effort. So there should be physical and mental effort. Even Mr. Raji, you know, in the football, the team that, for example, press on its opponent is going to score goals.
Of course.
So the matter, you know, it's a matter of what exerting yourself and working hard. So when I go back to the first stage of this journey, I was really following very traditional, strategy of learning. By for example, by writing down the English items, you know, with it is the English items with it is equivalent in Arabic.
Yeah.
And yeah, you
Just
know,
like so,
word
yeah.
and word.
Yeah.
University means Jama and so on.
Yeah.
So this is really ineffective way of learning a language.
Exhausting us.
And vocabulary is not going to be acquired in such a way.
Yeah.
This is why, you know, this is, for example, one of the things that really held me back when I was a student at the secondary school.
So for sure, you know, you change your strategy within the different stages. So
Yeah.
maybe you have some message you want to say, because we're already out of time. We don't have so much time, you know, to ask the other questions. So what's your message to the people in this issue?
Yes, my message to the people in general and English students in particular is that they should know that this language is not difficult,
Yes.
as many people think. And they have to know that, for example, ambition and desire is very important element if you want to excel at the language,
I agree with you.
if you want to speak freely, if you want to communicate well. So, and also, you know, we have to differentiate between, for example, between the Arabic subjects, geography subjects, and history subjects. These subjects, you know, are knowledge, a matter of knowledge. While English language, it's not just a matter of knowledge, it's a matter of skills. And we know that skills refers to how to perform, refers to what? To how you are going to perform something in a very short time and in a very good way. So unless the language is skills, concerned with the skills, you know, we have to use the language extensively. And there is a famous British saying that back up this suggestion, is that use it or lose it. If you use the language, actually you are going to be knowledgeable about it.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, that means you will not be good at speaking, actually.
Well, you know, I think the people receive very loud and clear message, and really thanks a lot for very interesting